Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again, just to give you some more information to help wake us all up so we can live. I think we should tell it like it is. We're in a political season now where people are trying to persuade other folks to follow a particular way of thinking. And each one is suggesting that the one way is better than the other. And so that the people would be doing themselves a favor to choose the one that they choose. In reality, each of the systems are anti the other system. And so any winning system has to suggest to the other that it is a losing system, because neither of the systems, in power or out of power, work for the people. And so that gives an opening for a guy like me, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people, to come in and tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to call this thing just like it is. Now, here in America, what is really going on? Now, you hear people saying that the conservative Republicans have joined on a bandwagon and that they seems to be at a point of no return. I have said they want a path to hell. And I don't mind saying that because we all are. It's just that they are leading that path. Now, what does that basically mean? That basically means that there are a lot of things going on in this country that is just blindness to many of us. For instance, you hear things being said about the Republicans are actually bordering on fascism. Fascism. Now that word really takes away somewhat of the real meaning. See, we say fascism is totalitarianism and you're taking away certain rights and stuff like this. But the truth of the matter is, fascism is a code word, but it really means evil. It really means sin. Now, why do I say fascism means evil and sin? Well, let's look at it like this. In America, we are saying this because of what Trump and his people call them minions, are doing, and how the Republican Party is just riding along with it. They say want to give the impression that they're not for it, but they are empowering it with their silence. But what is being portrayed before us, the rest of us who are not part of that? Lying, cheating, stealing, holding up racism, hatred, bigotry, terrorizing, threatening war. All of these things come at the behest of what we call fascism. I mean, that's all that we're getting from these fascists, we say. They're not talking about anything that's progressive except more of this, more white supremacy, more tearing down and making sure that those who don't count according to don't count. Now, what can you call that? You have to call that sin. You have to call that evil. And I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, if they are bold enough to stand up under some old code name talking about some fascists when they are really representing the devil, then I'll stand before you and I won't say God, I'll say righteous. I'm standing before you in the name of righteousness. Now, what does that basically mean? It basically means the same thing you've heard me say all the time. And if you turn to any one of my videos, you're going to hear me say it again. So I guess that must mean for me to take a short version and tell you what it means today. This is what it means. It means that all things belong to God. That man made anything is a deception. The earth is made by God. Man is made by God. And man didn't make God. So what does that mean? That means that every human being made by God, same kinds of systems, requires the same type of fulfillment to survive. Met with the resources given, desire universal. Participation required, universal. Everybody got a gift that they can participate in the process of creating and causing a manifestation of that which is required. And do that in such an abundance that the reservoir of goods and services overflow, that there will not be enough room to contain. And so everybody got what they need, want, and desire. That include, but not limited to, food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, transportation, and anything that comes from the infrastructure or the imagination that men set their hands to do. And you don't have to do any of that other stuff that comes from the fascists: lying, cheating, stealing, killing. Now, you don't have to do any of that. And because of the way and the choices that you made, you have peace, prosperity, freedom, joy in your life, happiness in your life, your dreams being met. You don't have to worry about any of that. And you don't need one money. You don't need what you call a supremacy. You don't need that. So there ain't gonna be no white man supremacy. There ain't gonna be no black man supremacy. There ain't gonna be no woman supremacy. There ain't gonna be no man supremacy. God is supreme. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know without question, as spokesman and advocate of basic human rights, this is my concern. This is my concern, that these things happen. And I'm just as sincere about it as these people are for trying to tear down this country. When you see those people who decided that they want to stick with Donald Trump and they all running for office, and they're not coming before you lying, they are telling you that what they are. They are telling you they represent evil. Even if they don't say the words, you can listen to the spirit behind the words that come out of their mouths. It is as evil can be. Evil as evil can be. They can ride on the same train with Hitler, Mussolini, and any of those guys. Yes. And the people who know the truth and keeping their mouths closed are just like the people who went along with all the ugly stuff that happened in the world. These senators, House of Representatives, they are the ones that's representing that. And the people just don't know because they've been misled from the beginning. And that's something else. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted you to know that we are dealing with not just some old fashioned word. This is evil. This is sin that we're dealing with, trying to destroy this nation. And the Democratic Party is of the same structure, and the independents, but they're not as bad as the Republican Party in that regard. But that doesn't mean that they're something to be praised. They really don't mean that there's something to be voting for, unless you're just so scared to go to hell and you have no faith whatsoever in God. And that's possible. That's possible. All you know is the anti-God. But I want you to know, because of our love, who is our? Whoever can say our, I'm standing before you to share this information with you, for you. Until next time, goodbye.